like something really lightly walking.
We know most animals will follow those waterways.
Minutes ago, the Expedition Bigfoot team had to quickly leave the area after finding something really scary. They found a huge, strange handprint and bones all over the place, showing that something big is out there. As they went deeper into the forest, they kept finding more clues, like big footprints and signs that many of these creatures might be nearby. The woods felt spooky and full of secrets, making everyone really nervous. Let us see how they handle these giant mysteries lurking in the dark. The unbelievable Bigfoot handprints. The crew had to stop filming after they discovered something chilling. They found evidence that Bigfoot might actually be real. Before this moment, the team had set up all sorts of tracking devices and sound recorders, hoping to catch any sign of Bigfoot. For a long time, there was nothing. But then, something changed. Suddenly, a deep growl filled the air and a large shadow moved through the trees. Then a camera broke. What was out there? Russ noticed a device picking up movement near a stream. Without wasting any time, he and Mireya headed into the deep woods to follow this new lead. They had a feeling that more than one Bigfoot could be in the area. When they found a place covered with bones and the remains of animals, their theory seemed more real. It was a shocking sight and a huge clue, bringing them closer to understanding these mysterious creatures. As they continued to explore the area, they ventured even deeper into the thick, dark forest. Their search led to an unbelievable discovery, a giant handprint, much larger than any humans, clearly belonging to something not human. Mireya and Russ took a close look and confirmed that this handprint could belong to Bigfoot. This was a major breakthrough in their investigation. Excited about what they found, Mireya called Ronnie to share the news. He was so eager that he left the mainland to join them for more investigation. Together, they kept searching and found more clues, like deep indentations in the ground, although none were as clear as the giant handprint. Fueled by curiosity, the team was now more focused than ever. Mireya sent all the evidence they collected to Bryce, who was analyzing it from afar. Even Bryce was surprised by the differences in the handprints, confirming that they were from a unique source. But now the real challenge lay ahead, navigating the vast, dense forest in their hunt for these mysterious creatures. The team, known for their careful planning, took a close look at the marks near the river's edge.
The hand, oh my God.
You see that?
Those fingers look long as hell, dude.
After studying them, they believed these marks meant large creatures were moving along the riverbank and now living in the valley. Since the river wraps around the valley like a moat around a castle, it made the area easier to keep track of compared to the rest of the island. No one could remember seeing creatures with such big hands before. Even though they knew it was unlikely, the team believed these creatures might be hiding in the valley. They were determined to find out more, driven by a mix of hope and careful thinking. The team made a plan to surround the valley and hopefully catch these mysterious creatures. The team split into two groups to cover both sides of the river surrounding the 20,000-acre valley, which was bordered by mountains that stood 3,000 feet high. Each group moved slowly along the river, looking for more signs of the creatures. Bryce and his tech team launched advanced drones to scan the valley from above, capturing every detail with high-resolution cameras. The drones circled the area while the ground teams walked along the river. As they walked, Bryce and the drone team spotted a fast-moving human-like shape on the thermal camera deep inside the valley. It was a few miles from where Mireya and Russ were. Bryce quickly shared this information, suggesting that the figure seemed to be heading toward a glacier. Mireya and Russ changed direction, heading toward the glacier to intercept the figure Bryce saw. Meanwhile, Ronnie, walking along the other side of the river, noticed movement in the thick trees. He could hear branches snapping and leaves rustling, but he couldn't see very well, and things were about to get even more intense. Bryce stepped in to help Ronnie with the visibility issue. After talking with Bryce, the drone flew over the area where Ronnie suspected movement. The thermal camera showed something moving, but it wasn't clear at first. Soon enough, they confirmed there was indeed some activity. "It's just 200 yards ahead of you," Bryce told Ronnie urgently. Even though Ronnie could hear the movement, he still couldn't see what was making the noise. The drone showed quick movements, but then the signal briefly disappeared, making Ronnie even more curious.
Can you go to the regular lens? Nothing.
Lost it in the woods.
Feeling like he was close to something big, Ronnie was driven by the urge to see the creature with his own eyes. He rushed into the thick forest, following the sounds and relying on Bryce to guide him from above. The moment of discovery felt closer than ever. At sunrise, a new clue deepens the mystery and pulls the team deeper, following a dangerous animal. At 8 o'clock in the morning, a heat-sensitive camera picked up someone near Ron's location. Just 2 minutes later, Bryce realized he was close to Ron and decided to meet up with him. Both of them were eager to check out a strange creature they had been tracking. As Bryce walked toward Ron, he stayed alert for any clues. Soon, Ron followed a trail of noises that led him to a surprising discovery: large footprints. The camera operator and Ron were shocked by what they saw. The size of the prints made it clear that the creature had just passed through. Even more startling were the broken tree branches scattered along the trail about a quarter-mile away. Bryce was making his way to that spot. By 8:34, Bryce reported that he didn't hear any sounds anymore. At the same time, Ron noticed something unusual: a 6-foot gap between two of the footprints. This suggested that whatever creature they were tracking had an incredibly long stride. Eager to find the creature, Ron used his thermal camera to scan the area. However, it wasn't easy. The dense trees made it hard to see, and the camera wasn't picking up any heat signatures from a human-like figure. Just when Ron was about to give up, he saw something moving toward them. At first, he thought it might be the creature, but as it came closer, he realized it was Bryce. The two of them talked about what to do next and decided to keep following the trail they thought the creature had taken. There was a sense of excitement in the air as the team hoped today would be the day they would finally come face to face with the creature. They walked down a dark and eerie path, their flashlights the only source of light. The trail was rough, but they pushed forward, determined to find more evidence. But the worst was yet to come. Their determination paid off when they discovered a path the creature seemed to use often, leading them closer to a glacier. Here, the ground was covered in a fresh layer of snow. Moving ahead, they stumbled upon a terrifying scene. It was a clear sign that a dangerous creature was nearby. The bloody scene in the snow, littered with remains, made it clear that the creature had recently attacked. Seeing this in the dark was even more frightening, knowing they were deep in the creature's territory. It was a chilling reminder that they were up against a predator who had the upper hand in this environment. As they examined the remains more closely, they guessed it might have been an elk or a Sitka black-tailed deer. Ron noticed a rib bone snapped in half and wondered why the creature would do this. This brought to mind some of Mireya's research, which suggested that early humans broke bones to eat the marrow, which was believed to help brain development. This practice might have even played a part in human evolution. But what they were dealing with wasn't just an animal. The more Ron and Bryce looked at the violent scene, the more they believed this creature was something more, a human-like hybrid. They had already found volcanic glass tools in nearby caves, tools similar to those used by early humans to cut meat. This led them to think that the creature they were tracking wasn't just a wild animal, but something that shared traits and behaviors with humans. As they looked around at the chaotic scene in front of them, it was clear this wasn't the work of a regular predator like a wolf, bear, or mountain lion. Instead, they were dealing with something much bigger and more dangerous. The level of destruction wasn't something you'd expect from normal wildlife. They decided to gather some bone fragments to study them more when they got back. The team of explorers, Ronnie, Bryce, Mireya, and Russ, shared what they'd found so far. Mireya and Russ warned the others to stay alert, knowing the creature could return at any moment. All the signs pointed to the fact that it had headed toward the glacier upstream. Both animals and humans tend to stay in places where they can find plenty of food and shelter. This was probably the case here too, with the mysterious Bigfoot choosing this area for the same reasons. Mireya and Russ decided to follow the creature's trail as far as they could, while Ronnie and Bryce stayed behind to investigate the site further. In the remains, they found part of a victim's body, but something strange stood out. There were no drag marks, which meant the creature must have carried its prey away. The sheer strength needed for that pointed to a large ape-like creature, which matched up with what the thermal drone had captured recently.
Catching something here on the drone in the thermal. It looks humanoid in shape.
Whatever it was walking.
A possible image of Bigfoot in the same area. Convinced they were on the right track, Bryce and Ronnie decided to stay at the site to gather more evidence. Just as they were about to move on, a sudden noise nearby made them freeze. They quickly grabbed their thermal camera but didn't see anything, but they knew they weren't alone. Determined to find out what caused the noise, they searched the area for any signs. By the time they realized how much time had passed, it was already close to dawn. The forest was slowly lighting up, and even though they were exhausted, they hoped they were getting closer to finding something. Meanwhile, Mireya and Russ, after a long night, continued to follow the creature's trail on their own. Even though the snow was soft and should have shown tracks, there were none. This was confusing, and the fact that there were no footprints on the large ice sheet nearby only added to their frustration. But this wasn't the strangest part. At a river near the glacier, with no sign of tracks and only the icy water in front of them, the team was puzzled. As they thought about heading along the tree line by the glacier, their cameraman suddenly spotted something, a figure that appeared for just a second before vanishing behind the ice ridge. Through the dark night, every sound and shadow might lead to answers or more questions. High claw marks and night searches. Russ, refusing to give up, pointed towards the ridge, catching one last glimpse of the creature before it disappeared. This brief sighting wasn't enough to solve the mystery, but it gave them just enough hope to keep searching for the creature that was hiding in the wilderness. After agreeing on what they saw, the group realized it was a human-like figure standing by the wall. When they noticed it, the figure quickly hid. Mireya and Russ decided to investigate further and went deeper into the glacier. Looking around, it was clear this place wasn't suitable for people. The deep cracks in the ice and the isolated location made it a perfect hiding spot for creatures like the one they saw. Mireya and Russ moved to another part of the glacier to continue their search. Meanwhile, Ronnie and Bryce were tracking a creature responsible for a big hunt the night before. They hadn't found anything at first, but then they spotted what looked like a claw mark high up on a tree. At first, they thought it could be a bear, but the height and spacing of the marks didn't match any bear they knew of. This made them think the creature they were hunting was responsible. The claw marks placed over 8 feet up showed that the creature was not only big, but also very strong. Even though they spent the night searching, Bryce and Ronnie didn't find much but kept going. Meanwhile, Mireya and Russ had climbed further up the glacier, trying hard to close the distance to the creature. The glacier was a harsh place, perfect for predators to hide but deadly for humans. Anyone not fully prepared would struggle with the freezing cold and rough terrain. But then things got interesting. After searching for a long time, Mireya saw an ice cave that looked like a great place to hide in such a tough environment. This felt like a turning point. If creatures like Bigfoot were real, they might be hiding here. As Mireya and Russ got closer, they realized the cave could be the perfect hiding spot or an escape route for anything living there. Fresh water nearby meant a creature could survive here, making it a likely refuge for Bigfoot. With the chance of finding real proof so close, Mireya and Russ refused to give up. They searched every part of the area for any sign of the creature. But they had a big problem. The mountain was so vast it was impossible to cover on foot.
And our chances of catching something on foot are non-existent.
So they worked with their producer to arrange for a helicopter from a nearby company to help them search from the air. This was a smart idea considering how huge the area was and how hard it would be to find anything on the ground. The helicopter search began with the team feeling hopeful. They knew they had to find the creature before it disappeared into the thick forest, which would make the search almost impossible. From the air, the snowy landscape below gave them a good view to spot any movement. It was a crucial moment. Finding even the smallest trace on the snow could lead to a huge discovery or end in frustration. With high hopes, the helicopter flew over the glacier, heading toward the forest's edge as the team kept their eyes open for any sign of the elusive creature. In the cold, snowy landscape, the team felt the weight of disappointment. After spending the whole night carefully scanning the area, they decided to check the spot one last time. But again, nothing broke the quiet, snowy scene. The creature, it seemed, had either gotten really good at hiding or had already escaped into the forest before they had a chance to see it. This hit the team hard, especially because they were so close to finding clues about the mysterious being, but it disappeared at the worst possible moment. Even though they didn't catch a glimpse of the creature, often called Bigfoot, the team didn't feel completely defeated. Each experience brought them closer, helping them learn more and become better at their work. The knowledge they picked up along the way would surely help them in the future. So even though this felt like a setback, they still felt proud of the progress they had made. After 3 weeks in the wild, the team returned home, but Bryce decided to stay behind to go through their data again, just in case they missed something. Back at the base, while Bryce went through their recordings, Ronnie and Mireya set up super-sensitive microphones all over the forest. These microphones were much more advanced than the usual ones, allowing them to hear even the quietest sounds. Bryce listened carefully to the recordings, and at first he only heard the usual noises of the forest. But then something unusual caught his attention, a deep, vague sound that didn't quite fit in with the rest. This could be a huge discovery, a recording of Bigfoot itself. Bryce worked hard to clean up the audio, separating the strange voice from the other background noises. The more he listened, the more he became convinced that they weren't alone in the forest that night. This seemed like strong evidence that the voice might belong to Bigfoot. Feeling both excited and confused, Bryce knew he needed help from an expert to figure out what this could mean. After searching for the right person, Bryce reached out to Dr. Ronald Cosper, a linguist who had studied rare languages and even looked into past reports involving Bigfoot. Dr. Cosper was very interested in analyzing the recording and eager to help. When Bryce shared the audio with him, Dr. Cosper found patterns that could point to words or phrases, suggesting that the voice might belong to a creature using some kind of language. But this wasn't the most surprising part. If the creature was really using a language, it could mean that it had a social structure, maybe even living in groups or communities. This exciting idea pushed the team to start planning their next big expedition. This time, they were not just hoping to find a single creature, they might be looking for an entire group. Armed with this new evidence and backed by expert opinions, the team prepared for what could be their toughest mission yet. They were determined to dive deeper into the creature's environment, using their latest discoveries to guide them. The challenges from their previous expeditions didn't scare them. Instead, they were more excited than ever about the amazing possibilities that lay ahead. What do you think lurks in the darkness of the forests? Could it truly be Bigfoot or something even more unimaginable? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.